Recently in the U.S. over the holiday shopping season, there was also a massive breach at Target, about 100 million customers impacted there. Luxury retailer Neiman Marcus had a similar situation. Of course, the South Korean data breach also affecting a huge amount of people. And for a closer look at these breach scandals, we welcome Kenneth Urken. He's a personal finance editor for The Street. Ross, thanks for joining us tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
So, Ross, with regards to the South Korean situation, customer details appear to have been swiped by a worker at the Korea Credit Bureau. That's a company that offers risk management and fraud detection services. So was this such a massive data breach because it was an inside job?
It's really a rarity that I think is a potential risk moving forward, that someone inside the company has access, has the ability to bring information to his mobile device, to the cloud, and move it elsewhere. Often companies like Korea Credit Bureau would just be concerned with what's happening on the external. How can we set up firewalls and antivirus software to keep people out?
So this was an inside job, but we still don't know what exactly happened with regards to the breach at Target and Neiman Marcus. So there seem to be a whole variety of ways that this information can be compromised.
Right. In the U.S., we saw this huge fallout, as you said, 100 million customers affected on the biggest shopping day in the U.S. In the calendar year. And people are really suffering because in that situation, they were done in by an outside source, someone who hacked into data, whereas in Korea, it was an internal source. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're either affected by the outside or the inside.
Well, you know, Ross, it seems, though, that the bottom line, it's the credit card companies that are on the hook for the losses. The South Korea's financial regulators said in a statement that it's the relevant credit card companies that will have to compensate for any financial loss. Why does it come down to them?
I think that ultimately they are responsible. If you think of a credit line, they're the ones who are liable for lending that amount of credit. And if something goes awry, as is the case here, they are on the hook.
So what can be done to prevent this? I mean, with regards to the credit card companies, in other countries outside the U.S., one needs a PIN number when making a transaction. Should they be upping their security? What can be done by the credit companies and also by retailers to ensure that this kind of thing is minimized?
I think retailers need to up their credentials that they're taking at the point of sale. I think also the consumer needs to be able to watch his balance a little bit more. Check your account, check your sheet each month and make sure there are no erroneous charges. If you do hear of something happening, as in these huge media firestorms that we see here, you want to go and cancel the card. It seems like a minor inconvenience, but it really is easy enough, and the credit card companies will issue you a new card.
So, Ross, with all of these massive security breaches that we've seen recently, the one at Target impacting 100 million customers, as we mentioned, Neiman Marcus was also breached. Is this impacting consumers' willingness to use credit cards, or are we just too dependent on them anyway at this stage? Should we be reverting back to cash? Is there an alternative? Should we be using checks? What could we be doing?
I think it definitely decreases our confidence in the magnetic swipe technology, which is a little bit vanguard. It's a little bit anachronistic. And it can be easily imprinted with skimming scams and whatnot. And you know, all the rage these days is cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. It isn't attached to our personal information. It is an algorithm, so the transfer happens in a transaction. The money is exchanged, but you have nothing attaching it to your address, to your credit history. So it feels a little bit more secure. So I think that a lot of people in favor of cryptocurrencies would view this as an opportunity to be sounding the proponent bells of this. But at the same time, all of those Bitcoin exchanges are vulnerable to hacks. So again, it's not a cure-all. It's not a panacea for the ills of the credit card.
Okay, now with regards to the South Korean company, outsourced company, apparently loan companies purchased that data. Are there no ramifications for that? I mean, who is purchasing the stolen data and why are there no legal consequences for them?
I don't think it's become clear whether those companies, and they were marketing companies that were using the data to cold call customers, whether they knew it was stolen data that was taken from a simple USB drive and given to them for money. So I think as the details emerge, they could be held liable. And if so, I think there should be major consequences and ramifications.
All right, thank you so much, Ross. Kenneth Urken, personal finance editor for The Street. And as we